Warning, this podcast contains conversations about real-life subjects and topics. We do not claim to heal, cure, or fix any of your problems. We do claim to serve a God who can. We are not financial advisors, doctors, lawyers, or offering any business or health advice. We do offer prayer, hope, and a conversation that may help you process what you're going through. Side effects may include love, peace, and joy, along with laughing, crying, and occasional bursts of hallelujah and amen. This show is a Story Ministry production, broadcasting live from the Beat Studio in Round Rock, Texas.
Welcome to Dad Talk Radio. Today we're going to be talking about good dads and bad times. I'm your host, Jacob Boker, here with Art Sagetto. Today, we're going to be talking about real stuff with real dads. Both of us have been going through some stuff in the last couple years, and we get on these conversations, and sometimes we just say, man, it'd be good if we actually recorded this or something, because I think a lot of the stuff we're talking about has a lot of meat and potatoes to it, and I think there's a lot of stuff you could get out of it, especially being dads. Sometimes we don't have that many resources, especially when it comes to being a single dad, and especially if you add the divorce aspect to it. So me and Art, just a little disclaimer, we are single, divorced dads. So this is Dad Talk Radio, specifically for dads. So if you're a mom, just please check out right now. No, just playing. Y'all can listen if you want. But This is for dads, specifically for single dads. And we wanted to talk because I think there's a lot of good conversations to be had about and around just being a father, a good dad, and then also being a good dad in hard times. That's one of the hardest things is divorce usually doesn't go really nice. It's usually not a happy thing for a family. It's not usually that moment where the kids and the family are celebrating it. For some divorces, maybe, but most divorces, I don't feel that way. I feel like it's really hard on the family, and they say that about 50-60% of the people getting married today are going to get divorced. So that's dealing with the relationship after you've been married, but then there's a lot of also single dads that haven't even been married. So let's talk about that a little bit. What's your, I think, number one struggles being a single dad and the hard times going through, the divorce semi-recently within the last couple of years? We were just talking right before the show, and Art was sharing that it was official. I think became official less than a month ago.
Yeah. About a month ago, but I've been in this process for a little bit over a year. And it's divorce is very impactful, not just to the couple, but also to the family, because you're not just divorcing your spouse, you're divorcing your whole family, the unit. It gets torn apart. And a lot of times we get caught up in that battle, in the heat of the moment, and it's the tit for tat. We're going back and forth. You add some lawyers in there and just adding fuel to the fire, because there's a lot of, if you didn't communicate, if communication was an issue before, boy, man, add some lawyers in there, that thing will heat up quick.
And some drama.
Yes. A lot of misunderstandings, miscues, everything, mixed signals, everything. Just the process is very daunting. It's not, and a lot of people think divorce is like, oh, you go to a judge and there's this trial and this and that, and you're in this courtroom and this thing's going out. No, man,
Judge Judy's just there ready to make a decision.
Yeah, all this stuff leaves you in limbo for a long time. It's the attorneys that are going out there and doing this grunt work for you, filings and clerical stuff and all these things, and you're left in the dark. So you're just killing. You're waiting for time to just
that could take a long time, and
that's right.
It feels like you almost get stuck there because you almost can't process and move on or move forward.
That's right.
Until everything's done and finalized. Right?
Yeah, you're in limbo. And so think about it. Your kids are also seeing this because as parents, right, as adults, we need to model good behaviors, good attitudes, spiritual leaders at home. And it's really tough to keep that, to balance all that out and still be, good, perfect dad at home for your kids because,
perfect dad in an unperfect home and unperfect situations.
Yeah, in a broken system, it's like, how do you keep it all together? And it's rough because you're going through you're processing feelings too. You're going through your emotional battles, just like the loss, the grieving, grieving the family, the unit, the marriage, everything, and all that weight's on your shoulders, and your kids are seeing you stress over it, and And it's also, again, you go through these interactions when you're exchanging the kids or at school functions, like their life is still going,
Mm-hmm.
but ours is like a roller coaster, in and out, in and out, and their life is still going. But you have to find ways to try to be a part of their life and not change it too much. Try to keep normalcy for them, but they're also, again, they're also seeing that roller coaster at home.
Oh yeah, they're
Back and
definitely
forth.
experiencing that roller coaster because they had to go to your house, now their mom's house, and now
That's
your
right.
house, and now your mom's house, and
Yeah,
for them it's just like, all right, we had one house before, now I have to do what mom says, now I have to do what dad says, now mom does something, dad does something, and it's like two
Yeah.
different houses. A lot of times, finances were semi part of an issue sometimes, and now there's two houses that you're trying to support. Now
Yeah,
it's
you gotta
twice the
cut back.
finances.
you got to cut back on expenses. They can't get everything they're used to, what they want anytime. The other thing too is that, it didn't. I didn't catch on to this until a little later. Is that the exchanges whenever they're with mom or with you, it takes a little bit of an adjustment period to
Mm-hmm.
readjust to coming back to you because they were just with the other parent
Yeah.
and they were in their happy place. They come to you, and it's kind of like it's almost like they feel like they wanna be a part of it. They want to come right in, but it kind of feels like they feel bad for the other parent. Am
Yeah.
I being like it's kind of a loyalty thing, right? Am I loyal to my mom or to my dad? But
Do I have to choose a side?
yeah, you have
Is
to
it
choose
mom
a side.
or is it
Yeah,
dad?
can I be happy?
Yeah,
you
if I'm happy with dad, is it going to hurt mom's
That's
feelings
right.
now? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah. So
they're walking on eggshells.
that's right. They're walking on eggshells when they first transition. There's a little settling period. So you as a parent, you got to recognize that and give them grace, give them time to adjust, not automatically. Okay, you're in my house now. We do things.
You can do
this
my
way.
rules
Yeah,
by my way.
because and especially for the younger ones, when they're younger, they don't know how to process
it
their
takes
feelings.
longer to adjust.
Yeah. They don't know how to adjust. They don't know how to process their feelings. As they get a little bit older, you can have conversations with them about, it's okay to feel this way. It's okay to do this, And like you said, there's routines at home. There's routines at your home. There's routines in mom's home. And, it could be like homework. Do you watch TV as soon as you get out of school? Do you do your homework right away? Do you have screen time,
Yeah.
limitations or things like that? And there's going to be that back and forth. Well, mom lets me do this. Well, dad lets me do that. Well, you know what? You're at my home. You're at my rules.
That could trigger you.
And that could trigger you. Yeah,
it really
yeah,
can. Like
it
as a
can.
parent, like, oh, well, you're in my house now, and we don't go
Yeah.
by that, and you're not going to
That's
do.
right.
And the kid doesn't even know what's going on. It's like, whoa. I mean, mom. All I said is, mom lets me do that. If I would have said, mom lets me do it or something, and you guys were together, and this wasn't the situation, it probably wouldn't be a problem. But now, because you guys aren't together, and I said that, now it's a big issue. Now
Yeah.
you're attacking the kid. It's the kid's fault, and they're
That's
like,
right. Yeah, it becomes like this passive aggressive, right? You take it out on the kid because it's like you're so frustrated with that whole, whatever challenge or battle that you have in your head or feeling about the other person, right? Because when you're at home, you're supposed to be the support system between the both of you, right?
mm-hmm.
And I know that marriages go through that struggle of, well, I don't feel supported, I don't feel validated, but then when you split up, it's like now you're forced to kind of do on your own, be on your own, right? If washing dishes was an issue, if cooking was an issue, if whatever other chore, domestic duty that you had at home, if that was an issue, well, guess what, buddy? You're gonna have to do it.
Up.
You're gonna have to do it now.
Just doubled up.
Yeah.
You didn't like it before, you're gonna have to.
You're gonna have to do it, man.
Yep.
You gotta learn how to work that dishwasher or do them by hand, or in my case, I started cooking. I actually love to cook now, and I even get my kids engaged with, with prepping, getting the spices, and hey, you want to do some spaghetti? All right, let's get the stuff together and we make it an activity for us,
That's good. Let's talk about that a little bit because I feel like sometimes people get so stuck in the divorce they can't see anything past the divorce.
Yeah.
And what I've realized too is there has been a lot of good things that have come. I'd say habits that have come from it, things that I've learned, things that I've discovered about myself. So it hasn't been all bad. there has definitely been some learning curves, but think about growth. Like if you're going to the gym and you start working out or you're doing taekwondo and you start getting into it when you haven't done it for a while, you're probably going to get sore a little bit. So also when growth comes from something bad or something serious that has happened and you start getting stronger and stronger in the Lord, sometimes it doesn't feel right and it feels like everything's off and there's so much like mental fog and anxiety and stress and depression and everything else that's going on and hurt and pain that sometimes you don't realize that that's actually building you stronger. There's growth coming through some things. There's some habits that are actually becoming better and things that you're doing with your family. One thing I realized is I had an incident happen with my ex or the kid's mom, I'd say probably a couple months back. And I'll be honest, I wasn't the best at being in the habit of sitting down at a table and having dinner with the kids when they get home or really at any time.
Yep.
But then I realized that it was causing attention, problems with the kids of paying attention and doing other things because they didn't have that certain structure in there. So something that actually started to kind of be bad and started as a little bit of conflict between me and their mom, once I was able to take a step back, breathe a little bit, say, you know what? The thing was she was trying to give them or suggest that we should give them like ADHD medicine or something like that. And I was just like, was against it. And I felt like there's a lot of things that we could do as parents that could help us, that could help our kid if he's not paying attention. I mean, like screen time, take some of that away.
Screen time,
structure,
healthier food. Just like again, if you're not the one who's cooking at home, you're probably going to be doing a lot of takeout orders, a lot of ordering out, and all that stuff is just you're just feeding your body, but it's not giving you the right
nutrition,
the right nutrition, and so I mean there's things that you can do to adjust, like you said about the quality time, the screen time. The quality time is where I've adapted because now, like I said, we do cooking together, whereas before I might have always just kind of like been on my own doing, when we were together, maybe I was outside doing yard work or washing the car or, I was always occupied with something with the house, home chores, right? Doing the handyman stuff, right? And I would just kind of, like leave my son there and okay, he's fine in the living room, mom's in the kitchen.
Yeah, they're good.
I'm going to go they're good. They're fine. And that's the thing too, right? You good, buddy? Yeah, fine.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, exactly. And they're right on their devices, But the structure's not there. Hey, the time, okay, we can only do 1 hour, 2 hour screen time. You got to do your chores, you got to do your homework, you got to, if you have and the thing too, if your kid's in other activities, right? And that's what you're doing is going out and doing these activities, taekwondo, baseball, soccer, football,
basketball,
all these,
whatever,
swimming, other lessons, that they take. That's also very time consuming. And again, that's where it's like you gotta really step up in your time management.
Well, that's one thing I realized. It's helped me be more responsible for one, just because I've had to manage everything, even the things I didn't like doing or I complained about her not doing. Now I have to do them.
You have to do it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I could complain all day that somebody else wasn't doing them, but now I'm doing them all by myself.
That's right.
So
that's
it's
right.
Like, But also with the kids, just like that quality time that has came from it, because I was just like you before. It's like, oh, they're good. They'll go with their mom. They're good. They'll go with their mom.
Yeah.
But now I'm spending that quality time. I'm like, I'm not letting any of this go. Like,
that's right.
I'll be honest. Like, it's a whole different level of relationship with me and the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And the transition was hard. I'll admit, like, when we went through the divorce, I kind of just said, you know what, you keep everything. Because I thought about, like, it was hard, like, when my parents divorced. So you keep everything so at least one house is the same, and I'll just go figure out everything on my end.
Yeah.
Which actually made it hard for me because I felt like, all right, now as they would go from their mom's to my house, they felt comfortable at their mom's because their house was the same as it always has been.
Yeah.
But now they come to mine and everything's new, and they want to be in their rooms by themselves, and they want to do this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I realized a couple months back something that was really cool is they started to feel comfortable coming to my house. That's where they would feel comfortable, and sometimes even more comfortable than their mom's.
Right.
I'm not saying, choose my house is more comfortable or theirs, but I realized that it's as comfortable as their mom's house now. They come home, they feel like they're home, and it's not like this. The transition is getting easier. They're getting used to it, and I think there's just a lot too, a lot of transition that goes with it.
I think that's a good point because, when you're together, you have a home, right? When you get divorced, you pull apart. Somebody has to leave and have to reset a new, reestablish home, right? And think about it, right? When you move out, you go to a new place. Like you said, your ex-wife had everything that was familiar, and that's home to them.
Yeah.
So coming over to you, it's just a house.
Yeah, it was
just
a home.
Place. It wasn't home. And until you make it a home, what makes it a home is that quality time. It's that relationship.
Those memories.
Yeah, those memories. Creating memories. Exactly. Creating memories. Yes. So until they feel that safety and security and start investing into that, then they'll be comfortable and see two homes, not just mom's house and dad's house.
Yeah.
They'll see the homes, right? And like that was one thing I did similarly as well. I said, you can take all the furniture, you can take all the stuff, because I want them to have everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want them to lose out on anything. But then when my son would come over to my place, it's like he didn't have, like you said, all the comforts, his electronics. We got in this habit of he'd have a bag with all, his Nintendo Switch, his iPad, and his charging. Like that was another thing, they bring the electronics. Oh, I forgot the charging cord. And so, rather than, because I was thinking, okay, rather than buy it double, we'll just transition this, right? Or on the weekends, because our schedule is 2 days with me, 2 days with mom, and we alternate weekends. So Friday was the day that we transitioned. But then that's even a hard thing to do because, okay, how do you get them ready for Monday? All right? Do you bring it over Sunday night, Monday morning, or do you, after school, you go to the other parent's house and pick it up, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of things.
A lot of little things. And for my son, that it would really stress him out because it's like there was times where I didn't know they were coming Sunday, or they'll show up Monday morning, and I'm not a morning person, so I try to get every minute of sleep that I can extra before I go to work, right? So sometimes I'd miss them when they were at the door knocking or ringing the doorbell, and I'd miss it, and my son would stress out because he would think that it's like where do we leave your stuff, and he's like, but I want my stuff, like I don't want to leave it anywhere, like I want to have it when I get home from school.
That's a kind of unfortunate type of stress.
It's unnecessary.
Unnecessary.
So we made it a rule that Fridays we definitely go, whoever's turn it is, we go pick them up from that house, right? But during the week, we focus on quality time.
Yeah.
Hey, no electronics, but you know what? Let's play a board game. Let's play some Uno cards. Let's draw. Let's do a Lego piece together or something. So we started getting busy with that, and like you said, I was always on the go too. That we wouldn't sit down and eat. Now, I make it a point that hey, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna eat this food on the table, and no electronics. And that was an adjustment for me too, because I was always used to having a white noise in the background. I have the TV going. I may not be watching it, but I have it on, and I have the volume up, and he's like, well, why do I have to put away my device and you get to watch TV?
Oh yeah.
And instead of like sitting there, well, I'm the parent and you're the child, you have to do what I say. I say, you know what? You're right. It wouldn't be fair, so I'm gonna turn it off. And then you and I can start talking. You can start telling me about your day.
That's good. That
and
quality
we start,
time.
Yeah, we start having conversations. Yeah, because that's the thing. You see your kid, you see what he's going through at home, but do you also know what he's going through at school? Do you also know what he's feeling at school? Because like activities going on at school, maybe there's an event and other peers have their parents, both parents show up. And he's a divorced kid, right? It's my mom, or kids just talking. We went on vacation, we did this, we did that together. We went to, Kalahari Resort, we went to whatever. But they're listening and they're processing.
Well, we don't do any of that.
We don't
I just
do
get
that
to go to
anymore.
my mom's and dad's.
We don't do that. We used to do that. We used to go here. We used to do that. And, that stuff, it's hard to navigate for them at that age.
I think that brings up kind of a good point. It's And I know for some people it's super hard to think about having a, I guess, reasonable or respectful relationship with the mom.
Yeah.
But I think I will say that has probably been one of the things that has helped the transition, not only for me, for the kids. I know things have hurt me, and sometimes I've had to take the hits.
Yeah.
But sometimes I just try not to let the blows hit me too hard.
Yeah,
It's like I get hit, but it's like, all right, I could take that, because if I don't take it, who's going to have to take it?
That's right.
It's really going to be the kids. So if I don't take that blow, it's not like, I'm just going to tell you, if she's the one throwing the blows, it's not like she's going to be the one to usually stop.
Yeah.
So usually I have to take a couple, just take it, and then if it hurts, if it, whatever makes me feel a certain way, I could deal with it. But then eventually it helps the transition with the kids. It also helps my transition too. And I'm just saying, like, for everything that I have to deal with, for everything with the kids, I know it's not easy to deal with. I'm not, a lot of you guys, I know it's not easy and I know it's hard. So I'm not saying, but at the end of the day, it makes it easier for your kids, but it also really makes it easier for you if you get along with the mom.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a peace of mind, man, because, emotions are high. Again, the divorce process is a very emotional process. But if you can learn to step away from those high emotions that get you into the conflict, right? Try to get away from that. I used to think that it was about being patient, but actually, I think it's more about being passive. Let it go.
That's good.
Let
That's
it
really
slide.
good.
Let it bounce off of you.
Be the adult.
If she's gonna say something, because she, in her feels she's angry, so she's gonna be poking and prodding because you know what? Sometimes they want that reaction.
Well, when we get upset, we do the same thing,
Yeah,
right?
we do too,
keep
right?
trying to poke and trying to
Yeah,
get them to
'cause
say
you want a
something and
reaction.
react. But sometimes we just have to. God just says, I think even in the Bible it says, just be still. Like,
Be
just
still.
Be still.
Be
Like,
still. Be passive.
be
Let
still.
it go. Let it come out. But you know what? Again, you're the bigger person.
Well, some of
because
it's
you
also
didn't retaliate.
processing it. So maybe if she's letting it out, maybe just get it all out. Come on,
Yeah,
let it come
yeah.
at me.
Yeah, and
Come
that's
on,
the
get
thing.
it out, and then
That's the
it's
thing.
said.
You may feel at peace, and she's maybe that triggers her. Hey, why is he so peaceful when I'm angry? So then she vents, or lashes out, not vents, but lashes out. But don't let it break your peace, right?
Yeah.
Stay at peace. And then again, who knows? Maybe watching you stay this way, not retaliate back, not react back, is probably going to send a message. You know what? Maybe I was wrong, and maybe I should do this next time. And then that's where things start to kind of
the walls start coming down,
the
tempers,
walls start coming down.
emotions, everything just starts settling.
That's right.
I think that's one of the big parts. Like, even this last Thanksgiving, it wasn't my week. I mean, I think we rotate Christmas and Thanksgiving days, but it wasn't my week for Thanksgiving. It usually doesn't fall on my week either. I think with Christmas too, I think it mainly falls on her week, even though the days we rotate. But just having a decent relationship with their mom and talking to them, even though she's remarried, she has her new life, her new thing, and I was hurt for a while and I had to process all that. But to tell you the truth, by keeping the relationship reasonable and me trying to be more passive, I don't know. I could say it's both ways because sometimes I get mad and say stuff too. So
absolutely. Yeah.
But by doing that, I was able to take the kids for the week on Thanksgiving and go on a family cruise that we have always done. We've always done this cruise.
Yeah.
And then COVID came, so we couldn't really do it. And then we got divorced soon after that. So it's like our kids were missing out on that when they'd hear their cousins and everybody else talking about this cruise they've always done.
Yeah.
But having that relationship with their mom, she said, yeah, you could go ahead and take them. It wasn't like she was holding something against me and I was holding something against her.
The decree says you can't because this is my weekend.
This is
blah,
my
blah, blah.
week.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is that. This is...
Yeah, because, that stuff is there so that when you don't get along.
Mm-hmm.
Because any other time, man, you can do whatever
That's
you
if
want.
you can't figure it out.
Yeah, if you can't, if it worst case scenario, you just go back to this. This is the guideline. This is the rules for engagement, right?
Engagement.
These are the things you cannot do, or this is set in stone. You can't. There's no more fighting about where are we going to spend Christmas. This one, you have them even years. She has them odd years, and you flip flop, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing that says you can't adjust to it. So I did something similar like that this year. I didn't have them for Thanksgiving, but I had them for Christmas. right? And it's from the day school ends until the 28th. So that
nice.
means I have them Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and a couple days later.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought the same thing too, right? But then their mom was, getting the feels because it's like this is the first year that she doesn't have them, right? And she has gifts for them, right? So I'm like, well, you know what? And here's the thing, I didn't think about it, but even with my older child, my teenager, she felt the absence of her mom and broke down in tears in her room.
Yeah,
they want me to know about it, and it was because, like Christmas is a special time, and we should be together, and we should experience this together. So I said, you know what? And she felt that maybe mom forgot about her and didn't get her a gift, right?
Oh, dang.
Because that relationship's a little rocky too, and she's away for college, so more time to reflect on a lot of things and more time to miss out on things,
and
right?
to think about stuff.
And think
let
about
thoughts
stuff.
attack
Yeah, exactly.
you too. It's not just think about.
So I said, you know what? All right, so here's what we're gonna do on the 25th. Why don't we go over to mom's and you guys can open your gifts over there?
Oh, that's cool.
So I shared the 25th.
That's good.
And for them to open gifts with their mom. And I wasn't like, okay, you come pick them up for 2 hours and then you bring them back.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, is it okay if I bring the kids over so that they can open the gifts with you on the 25th?
On Christmas, yeah.
On Christmas, and not have to wait until the 28th when it's, several days later.
Yeah, sometimes we have to set aside our pride and just really
Yeah.
say, all right, you know what? At the end of the day, this was my thing too. At the end of the day, I could totally hate the kid's mom, but the truth of the matter is we were married for 13 years in a relationship for 18 years, and
That's
those 18 years of relationship and
Yeah.
friendship, and it wasn't all good, but it wasn't all bad either.
That's right.
There was a lot of things, and to tell you the truth, I'm at a point to where I'm happy for her, and if I wasn't the one that made her happy, I'm glad that she's happy because I know we both went through a lot of things, and I felt like the years before just let up and we kept getting like something just kept happening, and it wasn't small things. It was like first
it's a
Daniel had his
buildup.
heart surgery,
it's a
and then
buildup.
our son James, had horrible eczema and was in the hospital for most of the year, and then during all that, then, she gets pregnant again. Now we have these two small babies close to the age, and we've never really dealt with that. We've always had them kind of spread apart. And then our older son starts getting into, struggling with addiction. And
Yeah.
then now he's struggling with mental health. And, everything was just adding up, and nothing was ever stopping. There was never a break. And I know that I was to the point to where physically, mentally, spiritually, I was just kind of broke.
Yeah.
And I know I wasn't the only way that felt that way. So, honestly, looking back and looking now, like, that I'm healthier and healed some, that I'm actually happy. I'm actually glad that she's happy. I'm actually glad that she found somebody. I'm glad that she has somebody to support her and she's not home alone. She doesn't just have to be, she's able to do what she wants to do, and she's able to be happy, and she's able to have all that. It's their mom. I still
that's
like
right.
I don't want their mom to be unhappy because that really makes my kids unhappy.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Because you're teaching. See, here's the thing: your kids are always looking; they're always watching.
Mm-hmm.
So you're teaching your kids how to be a man,
That's
but
a
you're
good
also
point.
teaching your kids how to treat a woman.
And how to react if
And how to
something
react.
controversy comes their way or something
Yeah.
bad or heartbreaking happens. That
Keep your cool, be respectful. No matter what. And here's the deal. This is where I tell my kids, right? We're always going to be a family.
yeah,
That no status is going to change that.
yeah.
Whether if I'm divorced, single, engaged, married, whatever, we're
I'm still
always
your dad. She's still your mom.
That's right.
You guys
I'm
are still
your
our
dad,
kids.
You're still our kids. Y'all are still siblings.
Dynamics may change, but
but
family doesn't.
But family doesn't. And that's the thing is it's about what you're teaching them, what you're modeling to them, because I do believe that when two people come together and get married, right? They come from they're two broken people with their own personal traumas and their own personal struggles and wants, desires, needs, everything, right?
Yeah.
But we also come from those families that are broken.
Yes.
And when I got married, and especially after I became a parent, it's when I started to understand my own parents and their struggles and what were the resources
Felt
available
their
to
heart.
them.
Yeah.
What was available to them? Who was supporting them, right? And then if you look back, the next generation, their struggles and previous. So I really believe a lot of this stuff is generational.
It is.
And
it really
we have
is.
to be those chain breakers.
We've been conformed to the patterns of this world, man.
Yeah,
We got to
and
be
we
transformed.
And we got to be those chain breakers and that negativity, break that toxicity, break all that, so that we can build that the generations going forward, right?
Yes, we could teach our kids and teach their kids and their kids, and hopefully it goes through because it's been generations how we've been conditioned. So what if we change that? And they could change it, and they could change it, and we'll change generations.
It's a ripple effect, right? It'll you're blessing. And a lot of times, that's where I had struggled when I was going through divorce because, I used to hear this every time. God hates divorce. God hates divorce.
Yeah.
And, it's like I just can't take it anymore, right? Like I'm trying to stay in it. I'm trying to save it. But honestly, it takes two people. One person cannot save it. It takes two people.
No matter how hard you try or what you do, it takes more. It takes more than that one person,
takes a lot more,
especially in a relationship and a family. And
yeah.
Let's start wrapping it up.
Yep.
Definitely appreciate you guys tuning in to Dad Talk Radio. We were talking about good dads in bad times, so appreciate you guys joining in. Art, do you want to pray us out today?
Sure. And I just want to say thank you, Jacob, for inviting me. Really appreciate the invitation, and it's good talk, and hopefully we can continue. A few more. This is a really good discussion because I think, even for myself, I think men in general just don't have that support system, don't have a lot of resources, and again, we're struggling with processing all these things.
Yes.
And we definitely need to hear it from other men who have experienced this and come out, rise above it. Right, rise above it. This didn't defeat you. This didn't break you. Didn't kill you. You can still be whole again and complete after this kind of it's like disasters, right? You can still recover from that stuff.
Yes,
and rebound and be whole again. So just again, thank you, and look forward to more future podcasts.
Absolutely.
So let's end this with prayer. And so. Gracious God, thank you for bringing us together. Thank you for this podcast that we have sharing our experiences with other men who are also struggling. God, we just ask that you lift those men and lift their spirit and start leaning towards you, Lord, because you are a God of love. You are a God of grace, and you can get us through this storm. A lot of times we think we can handle it within our own hands, within our own might, our own will, but it's when we surrender ourselves to you, Lord, and we trust in you. And when we put our trust in you, knowing that you have a plan and you have the battle's already won.
Yes.
You have that victory for us, and we just have to walk to it, through the light and get there. And God, we just say thank you for this podcast. Thank you that it's continuing, and we hope that it reaches more men out there, and that they are able to surrender the pride, surrender the anger, and just listen to other men who have been through that struggle and know that you're not lost. There's no losing. There's only winning when your heart is with God and you're letting the Spirit lead you. So thank you, God, for that, and I just want to say blessings to all you men out there who are struggling.
Yes.
Just keep your faith, keep hope alive, and just know that God is there, just waiting for you to come and reach for Him.
That's good.
In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Amen.